welcome back to another episode of the Brick Lounge presented by SC Bricks. Once again, I'm your host, Eric. Joined with me are my co hosts, Kipp and John. What's up, gentlemen?
Good evening.
Love it. Excited to be here.
Oh, man, we have a level of energy tonight that is out of this world, some may say.
Oh, that's smooth. That's smooth.
You
I
like
like
that?
that.
You like that?
What a
Before
wordsmith.
we get into our topic of the week, guys, I want to hear about your week in Lego. What have you been doing? What have you been working on?
John, you go first.
All
Okay,
right.
I'll go first. No.
You go first. You go first.
So yeah, I really haven't been doing much other than going through all of the amusement park from Columbia BrickCon and pulling all of the minifigures so I can resort and recalculate and redistribute and do all of that fun stuff. So
Kipp, that's got to be hundreds of minifigs.
it's crazy.
Yeah,
It's-
I put out most of them.
yeah,
Yeah,
Eric
Eric,
helped me
you're
put
good
them
at
out.
that. By the way, you're good at helping with displaying. You were a big help at Columbia BrickCon with me as well. That was a big deal. All the minifigs, all the fences, all the things, all the details. So
Yep.
yeah.
Well, I just enjoy playing around, and you guys let me do it, so I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Kipp, what did you find? Did you find any special minifigs that you forgot you had, or was there any? Did you anything turn up there that you weren't expecting?
Well, there was a couple that actually showed up, and you would have loved them. Both
they
of you would have
space?
loved them. They
Oh
were
boy.
related to space.
Oh
There
boy.
were several different aliens just happened to appear out of nowhere.
Oh.
I don't recall putting out any aliens.
I know you didn't, because someone did. 'Cause
Maybe that was one of those things that you do at a show when someone likes what you got, they
Maybe.
put something on there
I
like a little reward.
I don't think so though, because this was a little further back, so it wouldn't have been someone.
Someone's missing some aliens, is what you're saying.
Kip swiped some aliens
And
from a previous
honestly,
show unintentionally.
They might have actually come from Bricks and Minifigs from when it was there.
Yeah.
Because
That's probably exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
it is because it was one of the space rides. So
Yeah.
on it, they had basically put a group of 4 or 5 of that purple alien.
Kipp, those are mine. I put them there. Those are the ones I put there at when they were at. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Kipp.
Audience. It is the pink space alien from the CMF, the purple suit is what it is.
I
With,
found like 3
joking,
or
Kipp.
4 of them like
Those
huddled
are-
together.
Yes, those were all mine. So when we put your amusement park into the place, I put them all in there because I had my stuff there too that I was taking out. That's hilarious. Well, Kipp, I've been wondering where those minifigs were. Now I know.
You can come get them.
that's wonderful. That is
Oh
delightful.
my god, what a discovery! I love that question. That was such a random question, and here I found my missing collection of aliens.
There were like 3 or 4 of them, so yeah.
Yeah,
If you were
yeah.
looking for them, I will definitely bring them to you.
Oh no,
Oh, I love it.
that's hilarious. But no, legit, they are the ones that I put there. But I'm not
Okay.
in a hurry because obviously I have some more down here in front of me, which we'll
Yeah,
get into
yeah.
later.
Yeah.
So
Space is
anyway.
not in short supply around here.
right,
But
right.
y'all have gotten me to where every time I go into Bricks and Minifigs now, I'm looking for a new alien.
Dude, there's so many good ones, and honestly, they're really fun to add to your collection.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're kind of in the theme that we're gonna get to. All right, it's my turn. Can I tell you about my week?
What's your week in Lego, John?
Okay, well, first of all, I'm excited about our theme today. So this is consistent with the theme. A lot of you that are out there listening may have already gotten familiar with the Friends Mars Space Base, which is Lego 42605. That's come out this year. And I've seen some people on the internet do some combinations of that set. So I myself, with a good friend of mine who found a good discount on one, I was able to put them together, and they look fantastic. I mean, I love the colors. I'm going to have to change the Mars red to more of a to the light bluish gray, to make it more of a moon base than a Mars base. But I'm in love with those sets, man. The thing I really like about them is what Kipp was just referencing, is all of the purple, because I have a whole purple spaceman army along with all the purple space aliens that I want to integrate into this set. So over the weekend and coming into the week, that's what I was excited about. And like you said, Eric, I put out the call to my AFOLs, and I said, hey, if anybody finds one of these on sale anywhere, let me know. Right, with Walmart clearance season upon us, and I got lucky. So I'm going to look to build that, and that is going to be 100% a display piece. So my week in Lego started by creating a new display piece.
Dude, I am so excited for that because that's gonna be such a unique approach to space, you know?
Mhm.
You and I are both working on space things, but you utilizing the friend set is such a unique take on it, and the colors that are gonna be there are gonna be unlike most other space setups that are done, you know? I'm very, very excited for that because, yeah, I'm just pumped. However I can support
It's
that,
right in
I'm
line with
here
what we've
for it.
been working on, right? It just
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
100%,
yeah. So yeah,
100%.
and I'm still kind of figuring out where I am on the mini dolls. They continue to make them a little bit better, but I'm just not comfortable with the mini dolls yet. They still make me feel weird. So
Yeah. My
but
take on them is the feel. They just feel weird to me.
yeah,
I'm here for the representation. I'm here for trying something new and going with what works. Not everything has to be a minifigure, but just the way they feel, it's not Lego in the sense that I know Lego,
yeah. It's
you know?
hard because we're classic Lego people. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
so any changes can be difficult. And in this case, I am growing a little bit more. Um, I'm getting a little more used to them. Let's say that I'm starting to get more familiar with them, and as I'm seeing people incorporate them into their builds, my eyebrows are going up a little bit. I'm like,
Yeah.
but yeah, same with you. I'm
Fair.
the same. I do like all the green and the alien stuff they have in there too. They're
Oh, it's
introducing some
great.
new
It's
characters, some new alien colors. So
Oh yeah, there's a
yeah,
lot of cool things. There's really a lot of cool things about it, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. But I want to talk about my week in Lego
let's do it.
because my week in Lego is space related, but also not space related. Because as you mentioned with the Lego clearance sweep that's been occurring, or the Walmart clearance sweep that's been occurring recently, I have just purchased about every dream set that I can find on clearance.
Yes,
And working on a dreams display,
awesome.
and, in addition to that, through the clearance, I've dipped my toes into the Ninjago world for the first time,
Mm, mm.
and I am
Look at you
impressed.
branching out.
I
Pray
know.
I
tell,
like that word.
what pray tell
Yeah,
pulled you there?
right? Uh,
What
s
clearance set drew you
yeah,
in?
70% off a dragon is what brought me in.
Which dragon? Which set did you get?
The electric one, the blue and yellow,
Oh, I love that one. I have two of
dude,
those.
it's so freaking cool, man. It's so cool. But I also, as I showed off before we started recording, was the exosuit that I picked
Oh,
up on my journey for all of the color of spacemen. So I'm now down the black and the gray. So those are the only two I need. So if
the
anyone comes
gray one.
across
Yeah.
the
Do you know
Rocket
where to get the
Kid,
gray one? You
yeah,
want it in
the Rocket Kid
There you go.
is where
Yeah.
you get it. Yeah,
And not only that, you got to get the right gray helmet because
yeah,
the most gray helmets are the motorcycle helmet, not the space helmet.
correct.
So,
Yeah.
by the way, if you end up needing one of those, I think I have one that matches
Ah,
that color gray. I'd be willing to donate to your collection.
well, that would be delightful.
Yeah.
So once I acquire the parts for said spaceman, I may look for a contribution to the cause.
There you go.
But that has been my week in Lego, which I'm very excited for. We're talking space today. John and I in particular, but also Kip, really bond over is classic space. We adore it. John is wearing a classic space hat, available at lego.com for I believe 23,000 VIP points.
Something like that. 1,200 VIP
Tw-
points.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not 23,000. Where'd I pull that number
I'm
from?
going to skip over that. You didn't have to point that out when you
Jesus.
said that.
I was not going to call you out there.
So it's like, yeah, no, let's talk about space. Like, how do we get into this? There's so much to talk about. I'm
Dude, so
actually sitting in
mhm,
front of like 50 Lego space minifigs, just so anxious to talk about it.
what I want to talk about space, and I'm very excited this is our topic because Lego has made a point of making 2024 the year of space.
Mhm.
And for people like us, it's never been more exciting. I mean, we're getting a new minifigure series. We got a new city space line, which is more or closer to the classic space we grew up with than City Space has ever been before, because it's usually very realism based, and this is a little bit more towards the fantasy side of space,
Mhm.
which is what we really enjoy. Um, so they're leaning so heavy into it and crossing all themes. You mentioned friends,
Mhm.
dreams, creator. Everything is all about space right now. Um, so what I want to talk about, you and I both mentioned, have talked in the past about our origins being in space. So why do you love space?
I think for me, space is a mix of nostalgia. Because growing up, it was the first Lego that I really spent time playing with. When I was very young, we my father was in the military, and we were stationed in Germany for 5 years, and it was really it was either Playmobil or Lego. And when you would go to the Air Force Base commissary, or the BX, you would see that one corner of all the Lego space boxes. It was either Lego Space or Lego Castle, and I personally just liked the space. I felt like, um, to your point, everybody likes to be. Well, my dad was in the Air Force. My brother was at the Air Force Academy. I had space on the brain even as a child, and once I started building them, and you started being able to expand these space stations and get these moon plates, and start to link things together, the magic never stopped. It was just like, I want more spaceships. And I early on in my life realized that buying or having more than one of the same set was a good thing, right? So that was something I think early on I knew, and so I had a lot of space stuff. And so I think for me now, it's something that I'm very familiar with. It's part of my origin story with Lego. I've always wanted Lego to do more. I've spent most of my Lego collecting time either recreating or collecting or finding or doing something that has a space thread in it. And so for me, it's nostalgia more than anything. But now looking forward at these new sets, I think Lego just did it right. I think they're pulling together. Think about it. They're pulling together almost 50 years of space material into this year, right? Like, think of all
Yeah.
the different space themes that they've had since 1978 when they started it.
Yeah.
And this year, to me, to your point, is like they've gone all out. They basically said, we're coming back to space. And that gets me excited because look at all the sets. There's Technic sets, there's Friend sets, there's the big space, the minifigure, or not the minifig, but the space. It'll come to me in a minute, but um, it's an idea set,
Yep.
right? So the space
Yeah.
man,
Yep.
and so they're plastering it across all
Genres.
of their genres, and they're keeping the classic space,
Yep.
icon. The little, so that
Yep.
makes it super fun. I'm holding up a
That
minifig to the camera right now.
Yeah, the classic space logo is about as iconic to Lego as the Lego logo itself is.
Yeah.
Like people recognize that from their childhood, even if they're not Lego fans, which is fascinating.
Yep.
They may not immediately know where it's from, but they're like,
Mhm.
yeah, I grew up seeing that. Yeah, because you played with it, you know. Um,
How
but
about
yeah,
you? Why are you excited about it?
dude, I'm excited for an infinite number of reasons, as you said. But I grew up a space kid. I've always been a space guy. Like, even as a kid, one of the most disappointing times in my life was growing up. I always wanted to be a fighter pilot. Top Gun. Heck yeah, right on. Top Gun, test pilot, lead to space, astronaut. The plan was there, man. All right, the trajectory was there. You know, but alas, the moment I exceeded the height of 5'10", which was the maximum height at the time to fit into a fighter pilot jet, a fighter jet, my dream was crashed, and
Eric, can I
um,
just tell you that we're connecting in a new way right now. I had that exact same experience. As I just mentioned, my brother was a pilot. He still is a pilot, and I wanted to be a fighter pilot. Unlike you, I'm a little
we
taller. I'm 6'6", so
yeah,
my sitting height was, I would have had to head out the cockpit. So once
Yeah.
I went
I'm
to that point,
6'5", so you and I are in the same boat.
I was done. That was it.
Yeah.
And I never looked back. I was like, well, if I can't be a fighter pilot, I don't want to be there.
Yeah. Why?
But
What's the
yeah,
point?
why
You
else?
know? I've always been fascinated with it. Space camp as a kid was one thing I never got to do, but anything space I had a chance to fall into and research. My in my day job, my staff laughs at me because such an old man routine. First thing in the morning, what do? Do I check my work email? Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely not. Um, I log on 3 websites in this order: weather.com, CNN.com, and space.com.
What? I'm with you on a couple of those, but space.com I'm going to right now.
And then I check my work email.
Oh my God, that's the trip.
So space has always been wonderful for me. I grew up in the early and mid 90s, and the insectoids, the ice planet, to me, Lego in the 90s was the ideal Lego. That's when they were imaginative. They were doing anything. They were throwing crap at the wall and just seeing what sticks with all of their themes, and space was one of those that is only limited by imagination because you can do anything with it. You've got Ice Planet 2002, you've got Insectoids, you've got Classic Space, you've got Blacktron, you've got Unitron, you've got Spirus. All of these things existed in the late 80s, early and mid 90s, and it created its own universe, of Lego space is different than any other space.
Hmm.
And which is why I think I'm so excited for this year and the potential future, is because for so long after they discontinued that imaginative space world, they became real. And as much as I love real space, it's not the same because it exists and it is the future. It is what we know, but the imagination is what causes us to create the realism that exists now, is having that imagination. Why I'm excited for 2024 Classic Space.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
love it.
What about you, my man?
Well, as you all know, space, or maybe you don't remember, but we have talked about this. What got me back into Lego was a space themed set.
Mm,
Hmm.
your original shuttle, yeah.
Well, that's what I remember from my childhood. That's what got me back in. But the first thing I bought coming back into Lego out of my dark ages was actually a city space set.
Hmm.
It was just it was the space, I think they called it the Space Lab. It had like 3 pods and then a small shuttle that came and attached to it and that type of thing. But it was just a small city space set. And then the very next set after that that I got was the Ideas space station. But
Mm.
what got me back into that, to your point, Eric, was the fact that when I did go into my dad's attic and found all the Lego and everything else, the one set that had been preserved more than anything, and because it was actually stayed on my shelf through most of high school, and after I left to college, it was still in my bedroom, still sitting on the shelf, was that space launch set with the space shuttle and the little red tower. And that made me go, huh, what do they have with Lego now?
Hmm.
And that's what got me back in. It's what gave the spark of light from my dark ages. The I guess we can try to make it space related. The sun turned back on. Maybe I came from the other side of the moon. The eclipse stopped, and now I
You
can
fell
see the
back
light
through the
again.
black hole.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what brought me back in. Now, of course, my focus has changed since then, but
Mhm.
space is what got me back into Lego. So I appreciate everything space.
It's funny as we're talking and I'm listening to you talk about kind of both of your experiences. I'm also kind of thinking about the different waves of city space over the years. And I've missed a lot of them. I know that. Like I've gone through different phases and there's been plenty of time where I've missed them, but the amount of space stuff hasn't really stopped. It's not like they stopped producing it, but it wasn't their biggest push. It wasn't the thing that everyone was the most excited about, especially when you think about like the Lego movie, the addition of CMFs or collectible minifigs, and then some of the more of the trademarked or the licensed themes that they started coming out with. I think that they started falling into the background. I'm just going to say it. I could easily go spend $3,000 catching up on sets in a heartbeat. Like there's so many cool space sets. There's rocket launching sets. There's spaceship sets, and they're just city. They're just city that came out, and we were busy doing other stuff.
Yeah.
And it's been fun to actually, I was thinking about this topic and kind of looking at some things. My wanted list, and I was just looking at the International Space Station. That is such a cool build.
Dude, that is on my shelf behind me.
Oh, nice.
I love that set. It's a bit on the delicate
Yep.
side, not gonna
Yep.
lie. It's a little delicate, but it's so cool. And the thing I love about it is like I mentioned, uh, Lego went towards realism, which isn't a bad thing, but it blocks the imagination aspect of it. But at the same time, I have something on display right now that floats above us every
Yeah,
single day.
that's crazy.
And, and it will eventually, in the very near future, be discontinued and no longer be there, you know? So
Wow,
it'll fall into the
IPs.
yeah, it'll fall into the same category as, the Saturn V or the lunar lander, where
Yeah.
it becomes space
History.
history at that point,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the other one. Both the other thing I think about Lego Space in general is they put some of their biggest sets out have been
Yeah.
space, right? So that's another thing. The rocket, the Saturn rocket. I mean, that's one of the biggest. Takes up the most space in a lot of sets just because of the way it's designed, right? But that's another one that's really exciting. That's out there, and so the other one that was big. They've done two big space shuttles, right? So that's another thing is they had. Can't remember what the first one was that they did. I think it was the first NASA shuttle that they did, and it had a satellite that came out of the middle of it, and it was probably a $300 set at the
That
time.
would have
Well,
been Discovery.
yeah, which is still on
That was
shelves
in the
now. Yeah,
Discovery.
Discovery, because I haven't bought that one yet because the size of it would be difficult for me to display with my current shelving setup, but God, I want it.
Yeah. Do you have the lunar Apollo 11 as well?
Yeah, yeah, I've got the lander, yeah.
But by
Yeah,
the way, that set was so cool because it introduced gold.
Yeah.
Like there
yeah,
was that was like the beginning of like unless you're into certain themes like Ninjago, you're
yeah,
not going to see some of these other colors. But that
I
was
know.
really cool how they built that into that set. I
Yeah,
remember.
that brushed gold look,
Yeah.
which is sought after now,
Plus, they put it on a vignette base, which was
Yep,
also unique,
Yep.
yeah.
right? So that's
That
another
was that was
option.
kind of like, the precursor to the diorama stuff we see now,
Yeah,
you
definitely.
know?
Made it fit perfectly, and it made you want to
Mm,
expand it, right? It made you want to take that and make it a bigger scene, which is, I think, the beauty of Lego.
yep,
As I'm looking at that picture right now of it online here, I'm getting ideas for our moon base, Eric.
yeah.
That'd be good.
What I thought about doing with mine, honestly, is getting a as a joke, getting a camera piece and some lights and setting it up in the corner, like the landing was filmed.
Get the big Disney camera and
That's
have it
pretty
aimed
good.
down at it.
Totally.
Yeah,
So it's even just a
Oh
model
my God.
that they're filming.
exa
You know what's
and
funny is as you guys say that, I have literally, it's hard to see. This is a Steven Spielberg Lego Spaceman.
I like it. Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you guys know, but the audience doesn't. I love throwing humor into my Lego MOCs,
Yeah,
I just love adding fun into it, Taking a serious moment and having a joke at its expense
yeah.
is the best, but,
So let me ask you, what's your holy grail for space? Let me go
oh
back and forth. Like,
gosh,
so you have an unlimited one single time purchase opportunity. What would you go get?
I don't know.
Right,
That's a
there's a
tough
lot,
one,
isn't
man.
there?
Well, there's a lot, and because also so much came out in, like, the dark ages that I
Hmm.
missed out on.
That you don't even know about. Right.
Yeah.
Well,
For me, honestly, like from a childhood perspective is you guys have and I have talked about this in the past where I'm working on a recollecting the original Adventurers run because that was an icon of my childhood. Along with that was Insectoids and Ice Planet. Those would probably be the big three of my childhood. And so, unlimited budget, I would probably buy all Ice Planet and Insectoids for
Ooh,
space.
okay.
That's probably what it would be. And then do some sort of grand scale mock involving those.
Yeah, that whole theme came after that happened during my time away from Lego. And so that's one of those series that I'm not familiar with. Kip, what about you? What would you go back
Ooh.
and get? What space stuff would you get?
See, I was out forever for space, it seems.
Yeah.
So pretty much anything from the past that it's hard to even put a thumb on just one thing right now. Because there's
Yeah.
so much that I would want. And, honestly, maybe I could just say a theme. I would want the entire Blacktron theme.
Okay. That is an awesome theme.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Blacktron went in a really cool direction. Like first of all, it's black and it's hard to get excitement out of black, but they did a lot. They introduced a
Yeah,
lot of neon colors, a lot of bright colors, a lot of offsetting
absolutely.
colors, which was really cool.
Yeah, and then with the Blacktron 2 run, they dipped into the greens and the whites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm actually in favor of hanging out with you guys after you get those purchases. So that would be great. I myself, just to let you know, I would 100% go back to the classic space theme, and I would obviously get as many as I could, but I would probably get like some of the command centers that are on the multiple base plates,
Those are
and
good
that
ones.
also have some of the what is it, the
That's what I
monorail?
was about to
Yeah,
say. The space
the
monorail.
monorail. Yeah,
That's now mine.
the
Yeah,
space
That's mine.
monorail. Yeah, so that would
yeah,
be, and then obviously the space cruiser, which is, which the space cruiser, which I think is 928, if I remember. I got to look. It's set 928. That's the precursor to the Galaxy Explorer that is out
yeah.
now. And so some combination of the command center and the space cruiser and the moon base would be my selection. And by the way, I have all those. They're just 50 years old.
Yeah.
And they're not together, but that's what I would want to get. I would definitely want to recreate. And then also, side note, I'd like to get one of these posters. I'd like to get like a big wall-size poster of some of these classic pictures of the Lego kids playing with these sets in
So
their 70s era outfits.
it's so funny you mentioned that, John, because we've talked about this off mic before, where I'm very much less of a collector and more of a builder. Like whatever I buy, I build. You
Hmm.
know, I'll buy things for future investments that are duplicates of what I have, but if I buy it because I want it, I'm going to build it. Period. End of story. I don't give a crap what it's worth. I'm going to build it. Because it is a toy. It is meant to be played with. It is meant to be enjoyed. It's meant to have fun with and be creative with. That's the purpose of what we do, and that's a core tenement of my Lego values, if you will. Um, but advertisements that we grew up with, posters, things like that are so fascinating because they are literally a time capsule of the moment, of what was important, what at the time in society and in
It's like
toys
it's like
and
seeing those instruction books from the 70s or the 80s that have that. You open it up and it's got all the sets that were available
Right?
at that
When
moment.
they were
yeah,
doing
Like you want to
advertising
frame that.
in the
yeah.
instructions.
Like
Yes.
when we do our in-person meetings for SC Bricks and somebody brings a catalog from 1989.
Mhm.
Oh, so cool. So
We're
cool.
all like,
And so delicate. The pages they're like paper thin, super tight, they're ripping with everything, but we're just all huddled around it. That's true.
yeah, yeah, going, oh, I grew
And they
up with
have the
that.
little
Oh, I
mail
remember
order
that.
sections in the back, and everybody goes, "I wish
Yeah,
I could order those now."
yeah,
Right, right.
yeah.
It's
It's
funny
a
because I remember as a kid looking at those and looking at how the big sets. I couldn't afford any of those. All I could afford was the really small sets. So that's what I would see, and I would dream about getting the bigger sets. Like, oh, that set's $50 or $60. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
But I end up with a whole bunch of the little spaceships, or the little space cars, or the little
That's
buggies,
how you have
and
so
every
many
once in a while you
spacemen.
get a big set. Yeah, that's why I have so many spacemen. That's right. So,
Yeah. But those little sets though are the moments.
mhm,
I still maintain no matter what the theme is, Lego is built quite literally small scale.
mhm,
Um, where the real Lego is the cheap stuff. It's the
mhm,
small scale sets. The big centerpieces of a theme or a wave, they're great, they're awesome, they're the eye-catching things. But to me, that's not the real Lego. The real Lego is the $10 set, the $20 set. The set that you buy and build upon.
mhm.
And your imagination grows beyond that set, and you create anything beyond that. It's the core inspiration point. So to stick it with the space theme of 2024, in my opinion, the absolute best space set so far of 2024 is the $20 Starship.
Oh yeah. The let me pull that one up.
Yeah,
I was just looking at those new sets. It's the medium size one, right? There's a little
yeah.
bit bigger one, and then there's a smaller one, right?
It's the $20 one that comes with the one minifigure, the
Yeah.
dark blue pilot. Yeah. Um,
Totally a reminiscent of a classic space.
yeah.
100%.
100%. It is
Yeah.
a $20. It is an impulse buy for most people. It is something that a kid could ask for walking down the aisle, and the parent's going to be like, "Yeah, throw it in the cart, sure." You know, um, but guys, I mean, we can sit here and rant about space all night, and I think we've done a good job of mixing in classic with current and just sharing our excitement, which is the point of what we do with this podcast, is to share excitement and share our passion with those listening.
Or
Um,
to just nerd out on Lego, which is
oh,
another way of
exactly,
saying it.
absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. If in case you haven't figured out from listening to this podcast, is this is basically just three dudes chatting about a toy that they grew
yeah,
up with and love to this day. Unabashedly, unashamed, 100% proud of it, which is how we all should be, because it sparks creativity, it sparks passion. In the motto of SC Bricks, it causes us to build, inspire, and create.
that's right.
Um, it's
Yep.
wonderful. So, what I would encourage those listening is to find your own passion, to find your own classic space. And do us a favor, wherever you listen to this at, let us know what your passions are, what inspires you to build. What classic space sets that you fondly remember growing up. Are you a classic space like John? Are you an insectoids ice planet guy like me? Are you a shuttle guy like Kipp? What is your source for classic space, because it means something different to everybody. um and with that, gentlemen, I mean, what else do you want to say?
Well, listen, I first of all, I we got to put a cutoff on this because I could keep talking about space Lego for a while. So I'm glad you're wrapping it up. I do want to add something in here. We're all part of SC Bricks, and I think it would be good for those people out there that may hear this podcast to know that they can come see us at one of our upcoming events in Augusta on September. So SC Bricks is in full effect right now around the state,
Absolutely.
and so come check us out, come meet us, come say hi to us, and let's talk space together, right?
Right.
Whitley
And
agrees with that.
in the
There
classic
we go.
words of Benny, space.
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 So until next time, ladies and gentlemen,
Space. That's right.
bricks down.
Breaks down.
Breaks down.